Sanitation can be defined as a process that includes access to sanitation facilities, collection, transport, treatment, and disposal or reuse of domestic wastewater and the associated hygiene. The goal being preventing human contact with all forms of wastewater while providing hygiene means and wastewater transport and treatment. Sanitation is a recognized international human right. It is also included in Sustainable Development Goal number 6 of the 2030 Agenda, which establishes the purpose to ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Sanitation definition includes hygiene as well. Hygiene is crucial to avoid human contact with all types of waste, including urine, feces, industrial waste, and solid waste. Personal hygiene, such as water and soap, is essential to prevent diseases from spreading. When there is a lack of access to sanitation and hygiene, we talk about unsafe sanitation. Unsafe sanitation is one of the world's largest health and environmental problems, particularly for the poorest in the world. In fact, lack of access to sanitation is a leading risk factor for infectious diseases, including cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. In the literature, sanitation facilities are ranked depending on their safety. First, we have the improved sanitation facilities. They are defined as facilities that hygienically separate human excreta from human contact. They include flush to pipe sewer systems, septic tanks, pit latrines, and other facilities. They include limited, basic, and safety managed facilities. The safely managed sanitation facilities are defined as the use of an improved sanitation facility that is not shared with other households and where excreta is safely disposed in situ or is transported and treated off-site. The safely managed sanitation facilities are the ideal case of sanitation. They provide a means of safe sanitation for everyone. This is the ideal case of sanitation which provides a means of safe sanitation. Then we have the basic service, which is a private improved facility which separates excreta from human contact, not shared with other households, but misses a safely managed criteria. Then we have the limited service, which is an improved facility shared with other households while missing safely managed criteria. Other than the improved sanitation facilities, we have the unimproved facilities and the open defecation. An improved facility does not separate excreta from human contact. It includes the use of pit latrines without slab or platform, hanging latrines, or bucket latrines. And finally, we have the open defecation. Open defecation refers to the percentage of the population defecating in the open, such as in the fields, forests, bushes, open bodies of water, beaches, in other open spaces, or disposed of with solid waste. The ideal case would be to have safely managed sanitation for everyone and zero open defecation. Unfortunately, data shows that nearly half of the world does not have access to safe sanitation. In fact, in 2020, just over half of the world population, around 54%, had access to safely managed sanitation. It is shocking that nearly one in two doesn't. In the map here, We have the share of people practicing open defecation across the world. In 2020, 6% of the world population was still practicing open defecation. Open defecation has a number of negative health and social impacts, including the spread of infectious diseases like diarrhea, especially in children, adverse health outcomes in pregnancy, and malnutrition. In the chart, we see the breakdown of the level of sanitation access globally and across regions and income groups. We can see that in countries with the lowest incomes, less than 1 in 5 of the population has safe sanitation. Much like safe drinking water, most live in sub Saharan Africa. While for high income countries, 87% have access to safely managed sanitation. We can see that there is a direct link between countries' economies and their access to safe sanitation. In fact, the distribution of access to safely managed sanitation shows how countries in Europe and North America are better equipped for safe sanitation compared to Africa, Latin America, and Asia. Even though the world has made progress in the last years, it has been far too slow. In 2015, only 47% of the world population had safe sanitation, against 54% in 2020. That means that we have seen an increase of 7 percentage points over 5 years. The state members of the international community have set themselves goal number 6.2 by 2030 to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene services for all, and an open defecation with special attention to people in vulnerable situations. And also, goal number 6.3, which is to improve water quality by reducing pollution, eliminating dumping, and among others, halving the percentage of untreated wastewater. But the gap between where we are now and universal access is still huge. Our progress is far too slow to achieve this by 2030. If progress continues at these rates, we will only reach 68% by 2030. Almost one third of the world would miss out. Sanitation is not only defined by access to safely managed toilets, but also by access to hygiene means. Nearly one third of the world does not have access to basic hand washing facilities. In 2020, 71% of the world population had access to basic hand washing facilities, that is, hand washing facilities with soap and water, which means that 29% had to rely on washing facilities without soap or none at all. In the chart, we see the breakdown of hygiene access globally and across regions and income groups. In sub Saharan Africa, only 1 in 4 people had access to facilities with soap and water. In 2015, 67% of the global population had basic hand washing facilities, which means that we have seen an increase of 4 percentage points over 5 years. Consistent with progress on drinking water and sanitation, we are off track from meeting the 2030 targets. If progress continues at these rates, we will only reach 79% by 2030. 1 in 5 people will still be without. If we are to meet our target, we need to see an almost fourfold acceleration of progress over the next decade.